The meat industry is currently cutting a pretty bad rap due to a lot of environmental concerns and a lot of people that harbour some misinformation but are very vocal about it.
From the public point of view, it can go two ways. People that support their local butcher shop because they know they support local farms, which is sustainable. Then you have vegans and vegetarians that may look down on what we do and think that what we do isn't the right process forward.
Yeah, butchers get a bad stigma. Butchers and farmers get a bad stigma.
People have got a whole range of reasons why we should or shouldn't eat meat. For me personally, the industry could do a lot better. The best things about being in the meat industry right now is the opportunity for change. When we look at things like regenerative agriculture and we really drill down to understand why it's so important to raise animals in a way that serves for the betterment of our environment, not to the detriment of it. You know, you could take 1,000 small farmers with 10 cows each, or you could take a feedlot that has 10,000 cows in it. And the 1,000 small farmers with 10 cows each can really make an environmental change. Collectively, they can grow great soil, they can look after the biome, they can grow great grass and finish a great product. And that doesn't cost the earth anything.
I think we need to support butcher shops so much more than the big supermarkets. You can go in there and you can get mince for so much cheaper, but it's important to make people realise that they can go to a butcher shop and buy that good quality meat and know where it's coming from and that it's being done properly.
We get a bit lost in the fact that big beef tars all beef. It's really hard to distinguish if you go to the supermarket. Was this beef raised ethically? Was it raised sustainably? What does sustainability even mean?
Taking it back to where butchering was, when it was really traditional and community spirited.
We need to find people who are passionate and driven about this trade, but see it for what it is. It's about food, it's about creativity.
The next generation of butchers, me included, we've got to be passionate than ever, and we really want to see a strong future for butchering. And it's about customer service, it's about quality, it's about craftsmanship. And if we keep with those three things, I think we're going to go all right.
The things that are important to me when I'm putting product in a cabinet to sell is quality, flavour and provenance.
I think people like to be more informed these days of what they're putting in their mouths, what they're eating, what they're feeding their families. They like to know that it was raised, whether it's ethically, where it was sourced locally. That's all important.
I find customers really like to know where all their products have come from.
That lamb, yeah, so all the lamb that we have there, it's all up in the Flinders Ranges, so about 4 or 5 hours away from here. And it's all fed on saltbush and the native grasses up there.
Firstly, so they know it's been ethically looked after from start to finish. You can taste that in the end product. And also for the fact when they take it home and feed it to their family, it's not full of crap and just additives and just stuff that is not good for you.
Because now we're faced with what I would term the conscious consumer. So that consumer is someone who doesn't just want to know what type of steak it is, but they want to know where it came from. They want to know how it got through the whole system. And so provenance is really important, and we've been caught out time and time again with companies that have said it's one thing, but then they've gotten too big and too commercial, and then all of a sudden they have to put things through into that branded product that isn't the genuine thing anymore. And you know, we've seen it in other industries, we've seen it in wine, that as soon as something has a brand and it's popular, it's really easy to delegitimise it.
You've got to feel confident in that you feel good about what you're eating and what you're cooking for your family.
I think our customers enjoy the transparency of knowing where their meat came from and like the journey it took to get to the butcher shop.
There's 4 things that go into making sure that the product that you're putting in the cabinet is fantastic quality.
Thank you very much. Yes, toot toot.
The animal husbandry, how it was raised, how it was bred, where it was born, the transport of that animal to the processing plant, how it was treated, and then finally how it was dressed and finished and transported to our shop. If any one of those elements has a failure, then the product that I'm putting in the cabinet is not quality. So it's really important to me to know that the staff that I employ care about the process that it takes. And it also is vastly important that the farmers understand the process and participate in that from their perspective. And so by the time it gets to us handling the meat, there's really not much that we could do to stuff it up because everything else has been done so well.
You know, the world's changing where so many people have such a care on how it's all done, and I think if we can prove that we have that knowledge and that we're confident to say that that came from the right place and was done in the correct way, that it's going to show that we can still do our own ways, but we're all doing it in the right way.
To participate in buying meat and feel good about it and know that you're not one of those that are doing harm to the planet, then provenance is the key to that. And there's a lot of different ways that we can track it and keep it genuine. My name's Beck and I'm the Managing Director of a company called Three Valleys Foods. We do everything from processing animals, sourcing animals, retailing meat in stores, training.
Stab in there and pull it back out, don't stab yourself.
We do more than your average meat company in any one day. In my spare time, I do own a 350-acre farm in the beautiful Derwent Valley, and I run a rare breed Scottish Highland cattle beef farm. And that's really where the journey into the meat industry started for me. When I first started breeding and growing out Scottish Highland beef, we won some prestigious food awards, that we had a fantastic quality product.
Down. Right around.
But it was really difficult to A, get it killed well, and B, then get it cut up well. I decided at that point that I just needed to build my own processing facility to be able to service the needs of small boutique niche producers like myself. I think the thing that sets me apart is actually the fact that I'm not from the meat industry. I'm in a privileged position where I get to question everything that happens. Nothing goes by me that is just because that's the way we do it. Everything gets questioned for whether or not it's the best way. We're moving towards best practice for everything, but that best practice may not be what the industry sees as best practice. Maybe it's what I've set as best practice because we have an opportunity on a small scale to do things beyond best practice. I'm probably one of the only 40-something-year-old women who heads up a meat company. Even our company itself is, I think it's now about 70% female operated. And I genuinely believe that that's one of the biggest things that does set us apart because, there is no macho bullshit at our abattoir or in our shops. Everyone just genuinely cares about what they do.
That T-bone there, not a problem.
I think origin and the ethics of where it came from is really important. That way we're comfortable in what we're selling and we can comfortably inform the customer of what they're receiving.
A lot of people, like myself, choose to give up eating meat in the sense that I don't want to eat meat that's come from a system that's disrespected water, land and the animal. So that's part of the reason why we produce our own meat. We know that animal has been loved.
We track where our meat comes from by working closely with the farmers and the producers of the products that we buy in.
Where is a farm? Where are they sourcing it from? How is it going to be transported? Is it being killed ethically? We don't work with the people that aren't doing it the right way.
I think that lots of vegetarians and stuff think that butchers and stuff just don't care. They think that we look at an animal and think, oh, that's just meat. But I think it's important for them to realise that, we actually care just as much as they do.
We're the link between raising the beef and cooking it. We've got to give the beef respect and use as much as we can with our skills to waste as little as we can.
Every person who eats meat should understand that it is something that should be highly valued and highly respected, and not just eaten like it's an everyday item. We are all accountable for our actions each and every day and for each and every mouthful. And also being aware that we can't sustain the way we're going at the moment. The planet just simply cannot sustain these systems that don't honour Mother Nature.
Sustainability is a really tricky thing. It's quite subjective. Is sustainability in the meat industry about making sure we don't use too much plastic? Is it about making sure that we source product that is environmentally sound, that is being cared for in a high welfare manner? Or is it just about the fact that it can keep itself going, because the true essence of sustainability is something that can just keep going?
Certain shops and certain people in the industry do try their best to become sustainable, but as a whole, there definitely has to be a change.
You know, we still walk into a butcher shop and the first thing that anyone does is get a plastic glove, scoop out whatever you need, put it in a plastic bag, fill that plastic bag with 6 more plastic bags and put it in a plastic bag. And now when I go to buy butcher's paper, it's almost not feasible for us to buy it, but we do because we genuinely believe and our customers love it.
As butchers, if we don't think about how to make our industry good for the environment, there will be no environment for us to have an industry. But I think we are moving in the right direction, and there are people coming up with ideas and pushing their agenda to get us that way.
It's everything from the miscommunication about how you consume products that are grown and raised in a mass commercial system.
I think as a meat industry as a whole, we have to look at sustainable farming and really supporting the little guy, because they're not producing on a mass scale.
We're seeing farmers entering the space that can actually produce more nutrient-dense meat than the product that we're seeing. There certainly is a niche for mindful butchers coming into the trade.
If we focus on the people that are doing it correctly, then we can only benefit from it.
The truth is that responsible grazing can restore landscape and it can sustain itself.
The key things that help create sustainability are the conscious consumer, the customer asking for things to be better.
How are you? What are we after today?
Some of the things that we do to minimise wastage in our business is to make sure that we can genuinely speak for every component of an animal that we've killed.
We use whole animals, so there's no plastic. We don't buy something in a box that's got a box with plastic straps with a plastic liner that's got in 4 Cryovac bags and soaker pads in. We get it in whole, we break it up whole, we hang it in the fridge, we bring it out, we cut it. We cut fresh. We don't cut backup trays. We just cut as we need. And we sell a tray of porterhouse, we'll cut a fresh tray. We don't have 3 backup in the fridge.
There's no such thing as a waste product. We try to use everything of the animal. So that goes through to making soap with the fat, rendering down pork lard or beef fat for cooking.
We really keep an eye on what we're ordering and making sure that we can get the most out of these products, because you put something in the bin, it's throwing money away. Some chuck steak that was in the window today, if it hasn't gone, slow cook it, put it into a pie. Food going in the bin is not good on anyone's standard.
There's a home, there's a natural home for everything that comes off an animal that we've had to take the life of.
We're always trying to better ourselves with green, environmentally sound products as well. We have customers that come in with their own containers. We try and use as least amount of plastic as we can.
We make sure that we're just responsible in everything that we do for all of the things that we do. It's the right thing to do. In this day and age, I want my kids to grow up knowing that I wasn't part of the problem, that I was actually part of the solution. I think there really is a groundswell, everything from the regenerative agriculture, how people are genuinely getting involved in, I guess, the whole cycle of meat production.
People are going to question it. They're going to be like, where's this come from? Is this free range? Like down to the smallest things. And I think as a butcher, the difference from 10 years ago to 10 years from now is that you've got to have that knowledge. One of the big key things that, people are recognising what's better for them. That's a massive thing these days, is people want to eat what's good for them.
The thing about this movement into agroecological farming or regenerative farming or whatever you want to call it is that it's a global movement.
It absolutely can be sustainable. In fact, it's going to make us money in the future. 10 years ago, people thought that organics was kooky. People thought that there's no way this would ever be a sustainable industry because, you're not doing all of the things that the big guys are doing. But organics now is worth more, and regeneratively farmed meat will be the same in another 5 years' time. I already pay more. I pay my farmers more that participate in good, healthy environmental systems because I know that what the product that I'm getting is more nutritionally dense and better for my customers.
The future of butchering and butcher shops as a business has shifted slightly over the last 10 years.
I think there will be change, but then at the same time, I think there's a big want for change to go back to the roots of butchering.
There's a lot of amazing young butchers coming up now with great ideas, but with old school knowledge as well. So I feel like we're getting best of both worlds.
I see it being a lot harder if we don't invest and get, skilled butchers now. All of these butchers who have been doing it for, 30, 40, 50 years, they're going to be retiring. That's why now we need to invest in our young people and make sure that they have the skills to be able to carry us on into the future.
I do see a different future for the meat industry. It's never been under as much pressure as it is now. I've said this a couple of times, if there's ever another cataclysmic event and we can't get our boxed meat for whatever reason and we can't get our protein-based veggie burger anymore, then who are we going to rely upon to make sure that we can still feed ourselves well? And if we don't have those skills in the community, where have they gone? So how are we going to do that in the future if we don't maintain the skills of butchery?
People are looking at wanting to go back to basics, and I think that it's really also probably more time to look at supporting local industry.
Without the customer, there is no need for anyone else to change. Unless the customer walks in every day and demands a particular reason for change, then the industry won't. The industry will always just roll back into what is the most convenient, the most economical, and it will make them the most money. So absolutely, I think the customer, the consumer, that conscious consumer, is the biggest driver for change for the industry.
I love our business, and I love that my husband's passion has not stopped. He can get up after 35 years every morning and still find the passion to get in there and do those long hours and do it for his family.
You're going out, you're serving your friends every day. We've got the farm, we've got a successful shop. You can't ask for much more.
It gives me an output to be creative, but it also gives me an opportunity to meet like-minded people, because that's what it is. It is a passion, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
I get to wake up every morning, I get to go and interact with people all day. I get to talk about food, I get to talk about cooking.
Couple of them, yeah, easy done.
It's not work, you just get up and I enjoy myself.
You're feeding a small army.
The feeling of just being able to wake up and go, I found what I want to do, and I'm confident to say that, to tell everyone that that's what I love doing. I've never been happier getting up in the morning, and it's never a burden.
So it's not just about putting meat on people's tables. It's about changing the way people perceive meat and how we interact with it on a daily basis and how we use our power to purchase high quality, high welfare products.
All right, there we go, Luke. Enjoy. I'm sure the family will enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
I love what I do.
I love what I do. I love butchering. Have a good one. See you next time.
I do, I love what I do.
I wouldn't change what I'm doing for anything.
I love what I do so much. Yeah, 100%.
Every day I wake up and I'm excited to go to work. It's just so rewarding.
No worries. Enjoy, mate.
I say it to the customers, they say, hey, going to the house, I live in the dream, and they might think I'm joking, but I actually do. I mean it. I am living my dream. Yeah, every day.